I arrived here when I was 10 years old. I think growing up as a squatter in this building in downtown São Paulo was even better than many people who lived in an apartment building, because here we have lots of friends. We always hang out in the courtyard, right there, in the middle. It's a space where people of the same age go to talk and have fun. I grew up surrounded by friends.
Can somebody lend me a knife? I need to cut this. Yes, do it.
What's good here is that we have a lot of friends, a lot of good people. They aren't the way people out there describe them. Those who don't live here says that squatters are thieves, unlawful people, and so on. That's not true.
São Paulo is the largest city in the Americas. It has almost 12 million inhabitants. 1,200,000 people live in precarious housing conditions. So many houses, so many dwellings, and so many people without a home, without a ceiling.
I'm from a small town called Guariba, in the countryside of São Paulo. I was an unpaid child worker. I used to cut sugarcane, carry bags of peanuts, cotton, whatever the harvest had to offer at that moment. I worked as a domestic maid in the city of Ribeirão Preto, and then I came to the big city in search of dignity. I lived in several hostels, pensions. Then I became unemployed, homeless. I was forced to live in the street under the Glicério overpass. It's like being forgotten. To think that everything you ever did was in vain. There wasn't a door there that you could open. There was a window you could close, a bathroom you could use, a shower to bathe. It was not easy. It was not easy at all. Living on the street with your children, people judging you. And then I thought that what was happening to me was my fate. And that was over. That's when I found the movement.
The homeless movement occupied the Maua building in 2007. It was known then as the old Santos Dumont Hotel, where many millionaires' coffee barons stayed after arriving at Estação da Luz train station. 237 families live here today. Almost 1,000 people. There are 6 floors. A coordinator is responsible for each floor. Tiago will take us on this motorized trip. He uses a wheelchair and has been living as a squatter in the building for 2 years. There is a rule book for all residents. Drugs, fights, guns, and visitors outside the immediate family are not allowed. Friends, just by appointment. And even then, you have to show your documents at the entrance. Yes, there is a check post and 3 doormen who take turns.
We live here and we are Maua security guards. Residents can freely enter.
Visitors must show an ID for their own and our safety. Their safety, our safety, and all of our brothers' safety. Because here we are brothers. Security is never enough.
The building was completely abandoned, without any social function, with lots of vacant rooms. I said, well, I'm in need. I'll go along with these people and we will occupy this place. To tell you the truth, I did not understand, but I was moved by everyone's excitement. And when I saw all those vacant rooms and I was homeless, I did not know which room I should pick. I chose one, then changed and chose another. Like, no, I'm staying on this one. No, I'm staying at that one. It was a party for me. Oh my God, it was beautiful. Then I understood the struggle for housing and understood that what I went through in the past in the streets was not my fate.
Each apartment tells the story of its resident, who pays the equivalent of $50 to the squatting community to stay here.
This is the lily. This is the anaconda plant. They call it that, right? And there is a little bird too. Here. There is a little bird. There's a frog. Here, my toad too. It's all here, you see. A lot of tiny frogs.
I was a prodigy kid from the 60s. I had a TV show. I was friend of Roberto Carlos. I'm friend of all the Jovem Guarda singers.
Tá difícil, tá caos.
I came here in tears. I was placed here by Nettie. She pulled me out of the streets with an open heart. If I did not have this space, I would be another body under the overpass.
Sukita, besides being one of the leaders of the movement, is the handyman of the building. Things are always sunny with this guy. He met his wife here in the occupation, and they've been together for 11 years.
Sukita, it's non-stop. You can see that they were calling my name. Well, I don't know what happened, but there is an outlet here to be fixed. People here always call me to help.
His wife is the famous and hardworking Raquel, owner of the convenience store in the occupation.
Well, I work here 7 days a week, from 12 to 14 hours a day. Besides dropping the kids off at school, picking them up, and going to the doctor. Personal stuff, you know, the routine.
Without any solutions coming from the state, the homeless movements occupy abandoned buildings. What would you do? Would you let your children get sick and eventually die under the overpass? Emmanuel ran away from home to live here with his girlfriend and his daughter. Today, he's at business school.
So now, as I told you, I'm studying, I'm working, I'm living, right? Administering work teams, developing. In the future, I want to open my own venture to increase my income and thus be able to divide in the best possible way, right? Being an employee is a little more complicated. I think in the long run, I want to open my own business to get my resources and thus to achieve my dreams. There are many.
I love living here. For me, it's great, you know. It's not exactly what I want, a wonderful house, but it's a rent I can afford rather than stay under the bridge. You see how many homeless people near here in this beautiful place, the Station of Light? And it's full of people dragging themselves. If we live here, we end up in the middle of those people there, don't you agree? So the governor, the president, ought to take pity on us. We need this place, okay? Excuse me, but it's true. I need to stay here.
The homeless movements search and identify abandoned buildings, places that were left without a social function. Buildings with unpaid taxes piled up for years, sometimes decades, whose value often exceeds the value of the building itself. Like this one, the Prestes Maia building, the second largest building occupied by squatters of the Americas. Civil disobedience is a method of peaceful protest used by Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. Occupying a building is an act of civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is part of the so-called right of resistance of citizens, as well as the right to go on strike, which serve to guarantee the protection of the sovereignty of the people. It is in the assembly that everyone is heard and the problems are solved together. The assembly is the key to self-management.
Sozinho, à noite, qualquer coisa me lembra você. Distante,
Woodpecker
distante,
and Cristiano
não
are
posso
brothers.
te ter.
They came from
Sem
Bahia
sono,
and cheered the
sem
squatters
nada,
up.
sem saber onde você está. Só liguei pra te falar se você não dá.
The cleaning effort is something that always happens. It could be in preparation for a party or even to wash the building. These task forces shows equality among the squatters and also unites everyone in a successful process of self-management.
This is our home. If we don't do it, try to improve our lives here, nobody's going to do it. We're the ones who live here.
Here in Maua, there is all kinds of people. Young people, old people, non-traditional families, LGBT people. People like us. People are a wonderful thing. Marina, Betânia, Renata, Dolores, Susana, Leilinha, Dedé, Emanuel, Aidan, Nete, Sukita, Rui, Renê, Raquel. People who look at the sky. Poor people striving daily to survive. Good people working to live in peace. People together to hold this place. People are made to shine, not to starve and die homeless.
I hope you liked our squatter community. As you just saw, only good people live here. Hardworking people who daily struggle. After all, the worst fight is the one that is not fought. Isn't that true? The doors will always be open. Whenever you want, you can come as a person, a human being of flesh and blood, and you will always be welcome. Thank you so much. A kiss. Thanks.